Hello everyone, this is your boy Bank coming at you with a Hardcore SSF PoE 2 Abyssal League 0.3 build guide, league starter, Warbringer with Reavers, melee minions, heavily buffed in the new patch. Very exciting stuff, great for starting a new league and always off meta. I only do off meta. So first of all, I want to say a big shout out to Kripp for his awesome build back in 0.1 using minions. So he came up with a lot of this tech using minions with Warbringer. It's all about the Reavers with Rage, Dark Effigy, Ancestral Spirits. So much love, shout outs to the GOAT, Kripp. So we're just going to show a couple videos here of Ritual, Bossing, Expedition. Is this the strongest build in the game? No. Is it minions? Yeah. You don't like minions? I mean, I don't love minions. I'm not like a super minions person, but it's a good league starter, and there's a lot of interesting synergies with Warbringer. You know, I don't want to do Lich minions. I don't want to do Infernalist minions. So there's a lot of interesting things about this build. Now, let's talk about some of the changes in 0.3. So first of all, melee minions got changed to no longer require accuracy. They hit 100% of the time. Player minions now always hit with their attacks. There's no more accuracy requirement. So this doesn't affect spellcasting minions at all, I don't think, but it's a big buff to melee minions and also the snipers, I guess. That's a big buff to damage. So anything you see in 0.2 preview build guide in this video is going to be better in 0.3. The second thing, Ancestral Totem Ascendancy passive got buffed for the Warbringer. So the Answered Call notable passive skill now also provides +1 to maximum summon totems. So this build uses totems, but it uses Dark Effigy, which Kripp came up with. Dark Effigy is the only totem that doesn't use strength. It uses int, and you use Dark Effigy with Font of Rage to give the Reavers Rage. So now we've got one more maximum totems. Very helpful. So whenever you put down a totem, you get a Ancestral Spirit minion that comes out. That's also been buffed. So +1 totems, Ancestral minions got buffed. So this probably isn't going to matter because we're not going to be stacking decks on this build, but the spirits, the minions have been improved. They appear faster and do their buffs sooner. This guy no longer runs away. He now uses a warcry to buff allies to have damage. Great. Buff, buff, buff. So the minions have been buffed. Next, the warcry passives got merged. So if you remember in 0.1, Detonate Dead did 20% damage. And then they nerfed Detonate Dead to only do like 10% damage. So if we look at... let's see if we can find the old Detonate Dead. I think it's going to show us. So this is this patch 0.2. Detonate Dead does between 5 and 10% of the damage of the corpse's life. In 0.1, I guess they're not showing it. Maybe this is. In 0.1, it did 20%. So it got nerfed a lot. So if we look at the Warbringer Ascendancy, they've merged this and this together into 1 point, which is amazing. So this means warcries, any warcry causes corpses in the area to explode a la Detonate Dead, doing 25% of their life as physical damage. So this is amazing for mapping, for clearing, for Ritual, Delirium, lots of monsters on the screen. You just warcry, and then it's doing a huge Detonate Dead with no cooldown. Very useful, very cool. So that also got buffed. Encased in Jade, I think slightly got buffed. Where is it? Yes, Encased in Jade stacks. What is it? Warbringer, sorry. Stacks of Jade are no longer lost when taking physical damage from a hit. So more PDR. Okay, good. Now the big question is the block changes. Block What was it? So block now got changed so that, oh boy, where is it? Blocking is no longer limited to strikes and projectiles by default. Good. All hits that are not specifically unblockable can be blocked. So that's the old turtle charm. Now everybody has it when they block. However, where is it? Blocking was changed so that maximum block chance is now 50%. So you're going to be blocking everything without turtle charm, but you're going to be blocking less. Who knows? So moving on, new skill gems. One interesting one that I saw, Fortifying Cry. Perform a war cry that grants guard. So this is what we're interested in. You know, I've used Seismic Cry in this build in 0.2, but Seismic Cry, we don't need the damage. So if we're going to be using a war cry that will explode the corpses just because it's a war cry, why not use one that grants guard? So this will be a little HP buff. Very nice. I don't know about how this will stack with Encased in Jade, but, you know, whatever. And then I wanted to touch on a couple uniques to focus on, and I guess I'll go over the items of the build. So it's hardcore. I just made a new character in hardcore standard league because I wanted a fresh stash to try out this new build to practice league start. So I'm not trading. It's still SSF. Uniques to focus on and white items to focus on. This is really good in the early game. I think for this build, the hardest fight in the campaign is normal Geonor because you have to path through so many just stats to get to anything useful. So having 100 spirit plus the all-res is really nice, and this is a common unique. Another one that's interesting, might be changed a little bit for the new patch because of the changes in block, but Pelage Targe Merit of Service. I got this off the vendor gambling in like 10 tries. Allies in your presence have block chance equal to yours. So that means if you have, you know, I don't know what we're going to have, maybe 33 or 40% block, then your minions are going to have 33 or 40% block. So the idea is these Reaver minions, melee minions, are very strong and very tanky. So now we can look, you know, the gear. I got this gear kind of quickly. I've only been playing the character for like 2 or 3 days. This is all SSF stuff. I got so lucky with this. This is crazy. So kind of touching on life stacking, I suspect, because you saw the Giant's Blood change, now gives half the amount of life granted by strength. They added like 500 new passive nodes on the tree. I think they're maybe going to make it easier to stack life. So this is kind of a hybrid build. You know, the ring has 88 life. The ring has 38 life. The gloves have 100 life. The boots have 83 life, 100 life, 139 life. So we want to get a bunch of life, and then, you know, ES on top of that. So we can go into the skill tree a little bit. I'm going to take this first for the build because you're not going to get the first totems, the Dark Effigy, until level 31, but you're going to do your first Ascendancy at like level 21, so it doesn't make sense to take this then. So this is good then. Just use like a level 3, whatever the lowest level Warcry is, not Seismic, the other one. And then I took this third. For fourth, I don't know what I would get. I might get this if the shield block value gets nerfed a lot. Otherwise, I don't really know. I mean, there's not much else. Anyway, when you get started, let me see. When you get started, you got to path through all of these before you even get to anything, these 4 minion nodes. So all of this is just not helping you with your build at all. This is later. This is block chance. It's just convenient block chance. This is probably not very good, but, you know, this is after like 3 deliriums, so whatever. So originally I went up this way. I changed it later on to go this way, but basically the first important stuff you're going to get here is this. The minion damage is the most high priority. And then the all-res, I think, is important. This I didn't get until way later. So originally I was like going up here. This stuff, this is like super important. All this is really important. And then I went over here, minion damage, minion life, minion resist. And then I think I went over here. And all this is going to change, but minions revive faster, minion damage. And then I started getting some ES stuff. And, oh, these are important too, these minion nodes. So then skills. Ancestral spirits are the free the minions from your ascendancy that come out when you use the totems. Dark effigy. So they're just there to do the buff, basically. They don't do any damage. The Reavers are your main source of damage, and you want to have the most of the Reavers, and it's just damage, 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 damage. Encased in Jade is from our Ascendancy. That's a defensive one. You're going to pop that whenever you feel like you're getting hit a lot. Sniper, I have 2 snipers. This Corrosion, this is also from Kripp's build. Break Armor is going to be pretty useful since you're using physical damage. So you use this to break armor on the boss. And I just throw it out there sometimes. The mana cost is a little high. Dark Effigy, you want to throw these out as much as possible. And again, overabundance plus the new Ascendancy means we're going to have 3 totems. That's crazy. Font of Blood, Font of Rage. Font of Rage is the important one for the Reavers. Seismic Cry. This I'm using the pin support so that it doesn't go on cooldown because I don't yet have my 4th Ascendancy. But this is not good. We're not going to use Seismic Cry. We're going to use Fortifying Cry. And we're not going to need pin. We can use the Haze one and maybe Corrupting Cry. Skeleton Cleric, I have 1 just because of muster, you know, the more variety you have. Unearth, I use not because of the damage from the attack, but because it creates the little bone construct minions. And you can get like 20 of them, and they can kind of block for you. So pretty useful and good leveling also. Pain Offering, I use this for bossing. And also I use the active command of the Reavers where they get rage. So this Pain Offering plus the Reavers attack skill plus the buff from the spirits, they start doing a lot of single target. This is just movement, and this has been changed, so this isn't going to work anymore. I'm just getting this from my scepter. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think this is going to be an off-meta, hardcore SSF appropriate build that'll be a really good league starter. I got into maps after, I think it was like 24 hours played. There's some AFK time there. But a lot of fun, and give it a try. Thank you for watching.